The year is 2024, and Bloody Roar Extreme is making its third appearance at the massive fighting game event, Combo Breaker, this time as another community tournament. With the top two finishers from the previous 2 years returning again, would the finals be a repeat of years past? Would Nan break through and find a way to beat Jerry the OG? Would Jerry become a three-peat winner before the Kansas City Chiefs? Or would somebody else like Dom Presses Buttons take the next step and crash the finals party? After the previous Combo Breaker, Nan would take part in a Bloody Roar Extreme tournament at another fighting game event, Defend the North, which she won, with another entrant from Extreme's Combo Breaker tournament, Dr. B, aka Galaxy B, finishing third. Outside of that, it was largely unknown what Nan would do to prepare for the next Combo Breaker in terms of strategy or how much she would be able to practice. Meanwhile, Jeremiah continued playing Extreme online and off. Conversations swirled among some of the more hardcore fans about where he ranked all time, particularly in relation to people who stopped playing the game years ago. This was a fruitless, pointless endeavor which made some of the people involved sound like old-head NBA players who refused to give any modern players any credit. Still, outside of the occasional series of Twitter posts which made it look like the crown weighed heavy on his head, Jerry persisted, and he managed to attract support in the form of a pot prize for the third Combo Breaker tournament for Extreme. This time, the pot was the largest it had ever been. Even compared to when it was a main stage game, the pot was twice as big. $2,000 split among the top 4 players. At least financially, the stakes of this tournament were as high as they'd ever been. There was also the matter of this allegedly being the last time Bloody Roar Extreme would appear at Combo Breaker, at least for some time. Jerry was the one who ultimately organized the tournaments and helped with setup and tech issues, and he wouldn't be able to do this so easily anymore beyond this point. On top of all that, this tournament was scheduled to be one of the last events at Combo Breaker, happening Sunday afternoon, and it was being broadcast at twitch.tv/jwonggg, right after the Soul Calibur 2 tournament's top 4 broadcast. If that name sounds familiar, that might be because it's the Twitch channel of prominent fighting game figure Justin Wong, which as of my writing this has over 237,000 followers. Oddly fitting, considering Justin was going to be in the 2022 main stage tournament but had to drop out. In all, 29 people signed up for the Extreme tournament, up slightly from the prior year. That's despite neither of the PND brothers entering this year, though they were on hand for Mortal Kombat commentary and to watch the bracket unfold. This meant it had roughly the same amount of people competing as games like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R, Duck Game, and BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. And it had more signups than games like Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, which I was really hoping more people would be playing, Digimon Rumble Arena, and Monster Rancher 2. You heard that right, Monster Rancher 2. The players included several top 8 finishers from the past 2 years, and nearly all of the top 4 players. The bracket was arranged by Phil, of course, who was also one of the tournament organizers and tech guys, so that every seed was placed in a specific way to keep the best players apart until the end. Then there were some last-minute signups, the seeds got scrambled, and the bracket descended into anarchy. The entire top 3 from last year was crammed into one side of the bracket, which led to a free-for-all for the other winner's side top 4 slot. A side which featured multiple top 8 finishers from previous years and some new faces looking to break into the upper ranks. And then, as the sun rose on the day of the tournament, I showed up.
You gotta watch the house while I'm gone, okay?
I couldn't stay the entire time because of home and work obligations, but I made damn sure that I wasn't going to miss this again. I woke up at 3 in the morning and drove 6 hours in a car with no air conditioning to see this firsthand. Combo Breaker isn't the kind of event that I typically go to, as I'm really picky when it comes to fighting games, and I've had some bad experiences with the fighting game community at large in the past. But for Bloody Roar, I would make an exception. It also helped that they had a classic arcade section that wasn't nothing but fighting games. I got in some time on games like Point Blank 2 and House of the Dead before playing the greatest Final Fantasy game ever made, Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey. That's a joke that basically only I get, but it's my video, so you have to hear it.
How many Final Fantasy games do we have on the list for best Final
Let
Fantasy?
me check. Final Fantasy Legend 2. Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey.
What was that one?
Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey.
I was not there as a competitor, because competitive play in fighting games has largely been ruined for me. Although I did sign up for a Windjammers 2 tournament, only to miss it due to when it was scheduled. On a related note, how in the hell did I get seated 19th out of 32 people? I'm assuming a random number generator was involved. Instead, I was there as an organizer, helping coordinate matches, tabulating results, and otherwise keeping track of who had to be where and who won or lost. I was also doing time checks to make sure things were moving along fast enough for the top 4 to be streamed on time. Which they almost weren't. This was due to 3 things. 1. Tech issues. The version of Extreme played for these tournaments is an emulated version with custom cheats to unlock all the characters, and custom control mappings so people can use whatever they want. GameCube controllers, PS4 controllers, fight sticks, keyboards, Rock Band drums, whatever. This means having to set up calibration for each of these kinds of controllers before actual fights can happen. 2. Scheduling. Most of the tournaments were over by the time Bloody Roar Extreme started, but not all. Several tournaments were still running their top 4s and top 8s, aka their quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. Some of the entrants for Bloody Roar Extreme advanced so far in other tournaments that they weren't there for when matches started. Dacid Bro, last year's 4th place finisher, missed his first match because he was busy receiving a 2nd place medal for Combo Breaker's Mystery Game Doubles tournament. He did manage to arrive in time to play his matches in the losers bracket though. Another entrant, Omega Black, was in the top 4 for Digimon Rumble Arena. Fortunately for him, the stage it was being played on was in the same room and relatively close to where Bloody Roar Extreme was set up. And 3. Skill. Both Phil and I noticed that for a number of matches, people were going to the maximum or near the maximum number of rounds and sets. Start.gg shows all the results being 2-0 up until the top 8, but that wasn't really the case. I still have my written bracket, and while not everyone reported scores, there were a number of matches that were decided by a score of 2-1. Many of the results were hastily entered because the site wasn't working for us until the entire bracket was nearly finished and we were in a rush. By we, I mean Phil, of course. I mostly just stood around and yelled people's names while trying to live stream with a cell phone that isn't designed for this sort of thing, over a connection that really isn't designed for this sort of thing. If you're wondering why some of the footage for this 2024 event looks like it was somehow filmed in the mid-2000s, that's why. As for the bracket, Jerry would make his way through the winner's side, which included defeating both Dom and Nan along the way. And at this point, I need to show you something. When Jerry and Nan were facing each other, this is what it looked like. Both spectators and people who were still alive in the tournament lined up behind them, some with their phones out to record their match. There was almost nobody near the other 4 stations running Bloody Roar Extreme. Jerry vs. Nan is now something akin to a pay-per-view match for Bloody Roar Extreme. But what about what everybody else was doing? MGD Aerodynamic, who just missed the top 8 in 2022 and had to drop out of the bracket entirely in 2023, finished in the top 8 for the first time. Joining him was Dr. B, who also placed 7th in the Plasmasaur tournament, 3rd in the Retro Rewind Street Fighter Alpha 3 tournament, and won the Retro Rewind Capcom vs. SNK 2 tournament by defeating Jabali? Like, Alex Jabali, the guy who runs CEO? Oh shit, it really is Alex Jabali. His run through the bracket was cut short by a first-time entrant who was extremely familiar with Extreme. July Saline 81 is a Chronos player who has appeared on Jerry the OG streams many times. He also registered for the Mortal Kombat 1 tournament, finishing 65th out of 277 entrants. Here though, he won his first match against Omega Weapon, only to get knocked into the losers bracket by Nan in the second round. He then beat Dacid Bro, Radiant 7, Omega Black, and Dr. B to set up a rematch with Nan. And with a final score of 2-1, Nan advanced through the losers side, and July finished in a tie for 5th. I mention all of this because July put in some pretty serious work to get damn good at Extreme, and he came really close to vaulting straight into the top 4 on his first try, which is no small feat. He also talked a lot of shit.
You're not walking out of Combo Breaker 2024 as Bloody Roar champion. That's all I can tell you. Little Rico shit, that shit ain't working no more. That fame shit, that shit don't work no more, my nigga. Then I'm gonna pat you on the back afterwards, my nigga, and I'm gonna ask you, damn, how did you feel?
You ain't gonna smack no nigga. It's gonna be some nasty, mean, ugly ass shit, bro. I swear to God, we about to have real motherfucking words up in this motherfucker. Cause you been talking shit.
Goddamn, by the time I'm done with Jeremiah, he gonna be a Fortnite player. You feel me? You not walking away with that crown. One of us taking that bitch. It's either Nan, me, Dom, maybe Dizzy, you feel me? But Jeremiah, you will not walk away with the Combo Breaker Championship in 2024, bro. Your days are numbered.
Take your ass up and you gon' like it, boy. You gon' take your ass up and you gon' like it, boy.
I don't get to grind the game as much as they do. And I'm still able to cook most of them.
But motherfucker, if you keep talking all types of shit like you've been talking the last hour and a half, I swear to God, I'm about to get my mama to come beat the shit out. My mama gonna fucking show you how to be.
You gonna see tears down your face on Sunday. You gonna see tears.
If I don't see you in top 4, you got a rude awakening coming for you, bro. You better make it to top 4, bro.
But I don't have anything personal against him. Neither does Jerry. Hell, they shared a room for Combo Breaker, played casuals together before the tournament, and hung out together much of the time. And then there was Dizzy Pink, a Xeon main who also appeared on Jerry's streams multiple times. In his first appearance in a Bloody Roar Extreme tournament, he defeated Game Time, and MGD Aerodynamic, and Omega Black. But he narrowly missed out on a top 4 spot, losing 2-1 to Zero Suit Danny. In the losers bracket, he would ultimately lose to Dom Presses Buttons, who claimed the final top 4 spot.
Give me my top 4 back!
Given the prize splits, the top 4 would all receive a portion of the pot bonus. But since he finished in a tie for 5th place, and July took one look at the consolation prize and said, "No, how in the hell would I even get that on the plane?" Dizzy took home the latest Phil of Course creation, a body pillow with a severely pixelated Ganesha printed on it.
I think I know who won.
Play Bloody Roar! Play this shit!
That was everything I hoped it would be.
And thus, the top 4 was set. Dom Presses Buttons and Nan on the loser's side, and on the winner's side, Jerry the OG and Zero Suit Danny, which many people did not see the latter coming. Zero Suit Danny was actually in the first Combo Breaker tournament for Bloody Roar Extreme under a different name, and finished in the top 8. And this time, Danny managed to top that run. Now, I mentioned that I was there in person to help organize the tournament. That wasn't the only thing I was there for.
We getting ready for one of the best Bloody Roar tournaments you will ever see today, bruh. And literally, I'm Avatar Yaya.
I'm SCXCR.
Yeah.
My introduction to Bloody Roar was finding the official game sites for 1 and 2 on PlayStation.com in the late 90s. Not placeholder sites, not generic sites, they were legit game sites, with Naochika Morishita's art used for splash screens and character profiles. My first time actually playing Bloody Roar was at a Circuit City in the early 2000s, where they had a kiosk set up with a demo for Primal Fury. That and a bad attempt at joining the angry game reviewer fad on YouTube a few years later led me to make some retrospective videos on the whole series, which led to me being contacted a few years later by Jeremiah Isaiah, aka Jerry the OG, which led to making other contacts in the Bloody Roar community and beyond. And there I was, about a quarter of a century after first seeing the words Bloody Roar, experiencing very few ups and a whole lot of downs as a fan. 1 year after having to drop out of Combo Breaker because I almost died and was still on a steady diet of nutrient slurry and painkillers, wearing a legit Bloody Roar Hyper Beast Duel shirt, commentating for the finals of a Bloody Roar tournament with a sizable cash prize, which was broadcasted on a Twitch channel with hundreds of thousands of followers. Life doesn't always make sense. This wasn't my first time doing commentary, as I've done it for the Realistic Subspace Hockey League several times.
This has to be
up with it. It's a 3-on-0. Bacon North.
No way,
with
dude.
the lunge and the steal.
It's also not my first time appearing on a stream with a lot of viewers, as I've shown up on a few Games Done Quick marathon streams over the years.
All right.
However, it was my first time commentating for a fighting game. Leading up to the tournament, I would practice by commentating over Jerry's broadcasts of Bloody Roar Extreme Online matches. I also sought advice from fellow commentator Avatar Yaya, and he offered guidance and assured me that I would do just fine. I came in with printouts of info on several players in the brackets, as well as character sheets covering everyone's beast drives and extra Hyper Beast abilities, which you can actually see at the bottom of the screen. Before starting though, I noticed a couple of things. One, the camera being used to film the commentators is practically the same one I use for my videos. And two, as we were getting ready to go live, my phone started buzzing. I brought it out of my pocket, wondering who the hell was calling me at this really bad time, and was greeted by a message saying there's a tornado warning in the area for the next hour or so. I am not a brave person, but I am a guy who grew up in the Midwest, and the average Midwesterner's reaction to a tornado warning is not to run to the basement and wait it out. It's to step outside, look at the sky, and listen. It's only polite to greet visitors, right? Hardcore Midwesterners will do this with a phone in their hand so they could potentially film the tornado, send the video to a local news station, and maybe get their name on TV. I'm telling you all of this as a way of saying that when this warning popped up, nobody at the event flinched. I put my phone back in my pocket, threw on the headset, and was ready to go. The top 4 started with Jerry versus Danny. The winners' finals were best of 5 sets, and Danny won 3 rounds. Outside of pushing Jerry to the max number of rounds once, he was largely on cruise control. This led to a best of 3 showdown in the losers semifinal in a rematch from 1 year prior. Dom Presses Buttons versus Nan. Dom spent a year polishing his Marvel play, while Nan expanded her roster of characters to include a quote-unquote secret weapon. A fiery, bird-shaped secret weapon named Kronos. The true aim of this was to possibly overtake Jerry the OG, but she would have to get through Dom first, and Dom was making that quite difficult because of something you absolutely need while playing a 3D fighter. Spatial awareness.
Oh my God! Wasn't ready for that. Knocked him straight out. The game couldn't even handle it.
When it's a counter hit, it launches you like that.
Yes. Oh, again! No way!
What?
Double knockdown. That's a speed run.
Dom is popping off.
Wow. You got none thinking like this already?
Now let's see what that looked like from the audience's point of view. That was, in fact, Jerry the OG and July Saline running up to the stage after Dom's first point, with Jerry proceeding to keep yelling and run a small marathon between the rows of seating. More importantly, take a look at the expression on Nan's face. She would confirm later what was going through her mind during this moment, and it went a little something like this. Oh crap. Dom might actually win this. Now with the chance to change characters, Nan decided not to fall back on one of her prior favorites like Jenny or Yugo, but to stick with Kronos. Nan would dig out of a 2-rounds-to-1 hole in the next set to even the score at 1, with both of them being fairly even on health the entire way. Then in the final decisive set, Nan would quickly build a 2-rounds-to-none lead. However, in a round where both players stayed in human form the entire time, Dom clawed back a win. Then, in another example of Dom being alert to where the gaps in the walls were, he pretended Kronos was a football and punted his penguin ass out of the arena for the 3rd ring out of the match.
We got 5 seconds!
The penguin got kicked! No!
You punted the penguin!
Not the penguin!
And then, with the score tied at 1 each, and the rounds tied at 2 each, Nan forced Dom to go into Hyper Beast mode to break out of a combo while having almost no beast meter, causing him to lose over half his health bar. That would prove to be too much to overcome, and Nan would advance to the next round. I know Nan versus Jerry is the overarching rivalry of the tournament due to their history, which extends beyond these in-person tournaments, but in the span of 2 combo breakers, Nan vs. Dom has quickly become a must-watch matchup. With that win, Nan would face Zero Suit Danny, and as an aside, yes, I was really happy to see 2 Marvel players in the top 4.
Nan goes from facing a Marvel player to facing a Marvel player.
Yeah! Shout out to Marvel Gang. Yeah.
Hey, I got the Marvel jacket right here.
Yeah.
I came prepared.
Yes.
But Nan set Jenny loose and proceeded to juggle Danny with cross-ups and beast drives, to the point that she only dropped 2 rounds across 3 sets, and all Danny could do was this. And so, for the 3rd time, the finals would be Jerry versus Nan. Look, I consider both of them to be friends, but Jerry firmly established himself as the villain before the match began.
Yes. Oh, no, wait, no,
What?
No.
You don't have the guts.
No, wait.
You don't have the guts.
No, in grand finals.
Jerry is smiling. We can't see it, but he is smiling.
He is hilarious right now.
Lizard gang!
Oh, why you do that? That was the fakest button check of all time.
The crowd is still calling for
Yes.
Usajima.
Yes. Usajima gang, Lizard gang, we'll fight another day.
The match opened with Nan as Jenny and Jerry as Alice. This matchup happened last year, and Jerry was able to neutralize a lot of Nan's air-based attacks. This year would be no different, with Jerry ultimately taking the first point. Now watch Jerry's face as Nan picks her character and take a guess who she selected. Yep, Nan picked Kronos. That's the same way I react whenever I hear someone say, "Wow, Jerry plays Bloody Roar Extreme with a GameCube controller?" Guys, it's a GameCube game. It was made for that controller. Nani the fuck? Jerry did pick up on some of Nan's tendencies from watching the matches with Dom, and he managed to get out to a 2-rounds-to-none lead. Unfazed by an eventual ring-out, Jerry finished off the set and was ahead 2 sets to none. Whether it was because of the matchup with Alice or Jerry just finding a way around Nan's approach, the Kronos as a secret weapon idea was out the window. Nan fell back to Yugo, and with one of her tried-and-true characters, she did manage to get on the board. In the process, I managed to get this reaction out of Yaya.
Oh, just a little bit.
By a hair.
Yes.
Get it? Because there's a rabbit.
You gotta get out, bro.
I had to.
I love that. That was funny.
However, that victory came at a heavy price. the game crashed.
I think they went so hard that they broke the game.
Yes.
This might take a moment.
They hit another dimension playing Bloody Roar right now. They just try to figure out what's going on right now. What is Jerry doing?
Even he can't believe what he's doing.
Yeah, he's like, yo, what is going on? That game was so crazy. They fried the PC, man. You know, game was broke. The stream machine was broke on the game.
Well, maybe if we get a re-release of this game,
yeah,
we'll play it on a console,
yeah,
maybe a little more stable.
After a bit of a delay, a somewhat familiar matchup happened.
This is about to be one of those matches, man.
Do not call him Evil Hugo. Yeah. He is not. That is a lie.
Let's set that straight, all right?
I say familiar because Fang vs. Yugo is how the first Combo Breaker tournament ended. And there was plenty of insanity crammed into the match this time as well.
I'm really liking. I love how you tried to punish the hyper there. Big damage on. It doesn't matter. Jerry just was like, I don't care about that aerial recovery. You getting hit. Loving the grab knockdown there. I love how they just blocking each other's faces, like just trying to see what's gonna happen.
They're both anticipating that throw. They're both trying to tech it.
Yep. Big combo into punish. Oh my God. Oh, yo, what?
That hitbox is ridiculous.
Yo,
look how far he went behind his head.
No. Put the glasses on. Put the glasses on. We don't need to see the eyes, bro.
I just realized you could make a full-blown Andy Warhol piece with all the different faces Nan made in the top 4 alone. I call this Nan of the Above. In the end, time was like a river, and history repeated. Jerry the OG closed out Nan and became Combo Breaker's Grand Champion of Bloody Roar Extreme for the 3rd time in a row. Not only did he win the largest share of the pot, but a custom trophy made by Cirrus Fire, who also filmed many of these crowd shots you're seeing. But I need to backtrack to almost the beginning of this video for something I mostly glossed over. That this might be the last time Bloody Roar Extreme appears at Combo Breaker for a bit. Jerry is the guy who does the bulk of the legwork to get the tournament approved, attract pot prize money, handle tech setup and technical issues, and attract attention/entrance. It's an exhausting amount of work, even with help from guys like Phil, of course. But once the tournament was over, with various booths and setups near the stage starting to tear down, several entrants were hanging around the stage and wondering about the future. People who had rivalries like Jerry and Nan, July and Dizzy. Everyone was just palling around, taking group shots. I was my usual awkward self with guys like Game Genie 222 and King TB. Some of them only just managed to show up this year. This couldn't be the last time, for them or for people who were still trying to get there. And so, 2 days after Combo Breaker ended, Jerry the OG took to Twitter and said that if it does happen, he's putting $5,000 on the line. Which I guess means that either way, I'll have at least one more video to make about this 1 year from now.
Y'all know.
Kenji Fukuya, if you're out there, denwa shite kudasai.
Yes. Please, do it for the people.